don't want to sound morbid, but just imagine something with me here. Imagine that you've been in a terrible accident. You've got broken bones, internal damages, you're in bad shape. They rush you to the hospital, but they take you to a hospital that is legally, financially responsible for your care and your recovery. And the hospital assigns a doctor to come visit you in the emergency room and make a diagnosis about what kind of operations and procedures you're going to need so that you can get back to 100%. That sounds crazy, right? But effectively, that's exactly what's happening when you call your insurance company and your insurance company sends out an adjuster to scope the loss of damages that you have on your property after some sort of catastrophic event. And then the adjuster is the one who has to assess a value of those damages so that you then have enough money to get the repairs done. Hi everybody, I'm Tracy Bookman, owner of Homestead Roofing, and welcome to today's Walk in the Park video, where we take just a few minutes to answer your questions about roof repairs, roof replacements, and the insurance claim process. Today we're going to tackle the big, tough, hairy question: is your insurance company lying to you? So I know that was really kind of a crazy analogy, but it really kind of holds true to what happens in the insurance industry when you have a catastrophic claim, you've got property insurance for your home, and you call in a claim, and the insurance company, who is legally, financially responsible to pay for the repair of the damages to your property, is the entity that is sending out somebody to assess the value of the damages on your property. I mean, look at how that works. So you've got this big company who is beholden to their shareholders. They have a responsibility to their shareholders to show a profit so that the shareholders earn their dividends. And so then that insurance company sends out a representative to tell the insurance company and you what it's going to cost to get the repairs done on your property. Your insurance company, just by the nature of the relationship, does not and cannot have your best interest in mind, because there's a conflict of interest. The adjuster that they send out is going out there, and right out of the box, the adjuster, even though even a good adjuster who wants to take care of the homeowner, wants to make sure that the claim has everything in it that needs to be in it, that adjuster still has a conflict of interest, because if he's maximizing every claim and putting everything in there that needs to be in there so that you get fully indemnified and get back to 100% pre-loss, then that means that that adjuster is costing the insurance company money. So the insurance company that he works for or represents, he's costing that insurance company more money. Now let me make a very important disclaimer. I am not saying that insurance adjusters are bad people. I'm not saying that insurance agents or the claim representatives who answer the phone at the insurance companies, or even the insurance companies' executives, are bad people or ill-intentioned people. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that the way the system works is set up to provide an automatic conflict of interest for you, the insured. So when an insurance company tells you, we're on your side, or you're in good hands, or we're like a good neighbor, to make you feel warm and fuzzy about using that insurance company, by the nature of the system, they can't, in a property damage claim, they can't really be on your side. You can't really be in good hands when there's a conflict of interest built into the system. So when you have a catastrophic event hit your property, here it's primarily hailstorms. You have a big hailstorm hit your property and you have a lot of damage, and an insurance adjuster comes out to your home. The system is built up so that they're automatically looking for ways to minimize the amount that they're going to pay you for those repairs. It's really, like I said, it's no different than if the hospital was legally and financially responsible to pay for your care after a major accident. And so the way that the process then works is when the adjuster comes out and sets an initial value for the cost of repairs for the damages, then if you've hired a contractor who says it's going to cost more than that, especially if it's significantly more than the adjuster's estimate, then that starts a huge battle with the insurance company, because then you or your contractor or both of you have to engage in this battle of trying to convince the insurance company that it's going to cost more, and then you have to try to jump through all of their hoops to prove to them that it's actually going to cost more than their so-called expert adjuster said that it's going to cost. Let me give you a real world example of this. This is a situation that we just went through this summer. So there was a hailstorm up in the north end of town earlier this summer, and it did some damage. And so a homeowner called us, and we have worked with this homeowner twice before. We've re-roofed this particular house once before, so we know exactly what materials are on there. We know exactly what it's going to cost to replace like, kind, and quality for the materials that are currently on the house. But that insurance company sent out the adjuster. The adjuster sent all of the information back to the insurance company, and the insurance company came up with their estimated amount for the repairs of that roof. And surprisingly, their estimated amount for the repairs was actually $2,000 less than it cost to repair the roof the last time, 6 years ago. Now, in what world is that reality where the cost of construction goes down over a 6-year period, especially a significant amount like $2,000. Now, our estimate for the re-roof of that house was around $27,000. It's an expensive roof. It's kind of a luxury shingle on it. It was a steep roof, cut up roof, and a big roof. But the insurance company was way below that on their initial estimate. So after fighting with them and fighting with them and fighting with them, they finally came up to about $5,000 less than where our estimate was. But still, $5,000 too low. So then we had to go and fight with them some more, We had to jump through all of their hoops. So then we had to go back through the battle with them. They kept telling us that it wasn't going to cost that to replace that roof, that they knew better what the cost of replacement for that was, and that $22,000 figure was as much as they were going to pay. They were not paying any more than that. Well, so what does that do? That leaves the homeowner stuck in the middle, because he doesn't know who's right or wrong. He doesn't know how much it's going to cost to replace a roof. He's trusting both of these entities to tell him what the truth is about what it's going to cost to replace that roof. Finally, in that situation, we had to resort to hiring our attorney to send a demand of payment letter to the insurance company stating that this was the cost of the roof replacement and why it costs that, and demand that they make full payment to the homeowner, who could then pay us. It was literally the same morning that they received that letter that we get an email from them saying, okay, we've agreed to your estimated amount and we're going to release all of those funds. So let me ask you to think about this particular question. Who do you think is more closely aligned with your interests when it comes to having to replace your roof because of storm damage? Do you think that it's your insurance company and the adjuster that they send out? Your insurance company is the one that's going to have to pay you. Your insurance company is the one that's going to suffer loss because of your loss. Or do you think it's the contractor who is responsible, who has been tasked with the responsibility of making sure that your property gets put back into the condition that it was before the loss, that the project, the re-roof project, meets local and international building code, that the project meets manufacturer's installation specifications, and that you, as the client and as the property owner, are thrilled with the job that was done? Well, I'm going to argue that it's your contractor who is more closely aligned with your interest. And I'm going to argue that it's your insurance company and your insurance adjuster who have the conflict of interest in this situation. Well, you might be tempted to think, well, of course you think that the contractor is more closely aligned with my interest because you're trying to make money out of the deal. Well, and your insurance company is definitely going to try to convince you of that too. Oftentimes, desk adjusters, claim representatives, and field adjusters will do their best to convince you that your contractor is charging way too much for this job. He's got way too many things included in it. And because he's just greedy. Really? And your insurance company's not greedy because they're trying to avoid paying an extra several $1,000s in the claim? They're trying to avoid having those extra expenses that are necessary? Look, the reality of it is your insurance company has millions of customers. If you have a bad experience with your insurance company and you go to a different insurance company, your insurance company is not going to care. A contractor, on the other hand, especially if he's a local contractor, he doesn't have millions of customers. He has maybe hundreds of customers. Or if he's super small, maybe he only has dozens of customers. If he does a bad job, if he doesn't take care of you and you leave and you're telling your friends about what a rotten job he did, he's going to lose out. Your contractor, your local contractor, has a financial incentive to do the best job for you that he possibly can. Well, another thing to consider in all of this is which party do you think is more qualified and better equipped to determine what you need to get your property back to pre-loss conditions? Do you think that it's an insurance adjuster who comes out there with a template of line items that he's just filling in that's the same for every single house? Or do you think it's a contractor who is the one responsible for knowing what needs to be done to reconstruct or restore your property back to pre-loss conditions while meeting building code and manufacturing installation specifications? I hope this video has been profitable for you. If you've got any questions about this, please call our office right up here, 719-433-6991. You can also visit our website, that's right down here, homesteadroofingcolorado.com. We've got a ton of information out there, lots of blog articles, lots of other educational videos for you. If this has been a hot button topic for you and you want to rake me over the coals about it, I'd love to hear from you. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. If you've got questions, leave those in the comment section down below too. We read and respond to all questions that we get on our videos. We'd also love it if you'd subscribe to our channel, click the bell icon up there so that way you get notified when we've got new videos. And until our next Walk in the Park, I'm Tracy Bookman, owner of Homestead Roofing.